for many, many decades, and they said we have to do something like drapes or something because the light eventually affects it. And it's very cool. Oh my gosh. Like what? Just went up yesterday.
So I
Think
told
Joe Biden would do this? I don't think so. Do you think he'd think of it?
Welcome to the Annie Frey Show. Happy Friday. So we talked to you yesterday about the tour of the White House, the Oval Office, I should say specifically, that Donald Trump gave Laura Ingraham. And there's a new meme born. And you know what? Here's the deal. Some of y'all out there don't know what a meme is because you're not engrossed in the social media.
It's just such a funny picture.
Explain it.
There's no audio.
Hold on a second. Explain what a meme is. Both of you, I want Ryan, your definition first. Brad, you can correct me.
Okay. A meme is the internet version of a political cartoon. That is a...
It doesn't have to be political, though.
No.
Well, okay. Yeah, it could be just sharing some sort of point, usually funny, by putting a picture or multiple pictures together to share some sort of bit of information with you.
Okay.
That's all it is. And it could be, a lot of it's pop culture
I
images.
like that you refer to it as a political cartoon, though, because there can be humor or satire or a tongue-in-cheek approach to something that when everyone sees it, everyone can collectively go, oh, yeah, that's right. What do you think, Brad?
Well, I think Ryan's on track here, but I think the only thing
Ryan.
I would add to that is that then once one person creates one, then other people take it and put their own little twist on it and their own little twist on it, and it evolves and changes over time.
Yeah. So it kind of it takes on a life of its own. So the meme that has been born yesterday, if you listen to the show, was talking about how Donald Trump was walking Laura Ingraham through the Oval Office and explaining the portraits that were everywhere, the gold cherubs that are above the window or the doors when you walk in, and angels are supposed to bring good luck. And he's got this this elementary school easel in the middle of the Oval Office, and it's got a poster board of Gulf of America on it. But over to his right, if he's sitting in the Resolute desk in the Oval Office, are some beautiful blue, thick, velvety curtains that are hanging from gold rings on a gold bar, and they're hiding something. And it is the Declaration of Independence. And he's like, come here, you got to see this. So he walks Laura Ingraham over, and he's like, and he says there, do you think Joe Biden would have thought to do this? But now what happens in the meme world when he goes to draw back these beautiful regal curtains, it's a picture of something else. And in this case, Ryan, walk us through what you're seeing here.
So this is a picture. You really need to come see it because I've seen it already before this, and it made me crack up, but it's so ridiculous.
Did you see the picture before or the meme?
No, I've seen this video.
This video?
Like right before the show, so you playing it was funny. This is a... For him to be actually... It looks so real that if he were to have opened the curtain and that be behind it... What would Laura Ingraham have done?
Well, we haven't said what it is.
Okay, it is a picture of, I guess, J.D. Vance.
Heck yeah.
Made into some sort of like forest gnome with a lot of hair, looking real bizarre.
Lots of beard.
And it's like a couple standing and looking at what is like a mountain of this weird looking face of J.D. Vance with all these little sprouts of the same face of J.D. Vance all around them as if they are in the Beatles' Yellow Submarine video. It is like a trip. It looks like it's like 1970s on acid, but with J.D. Vance as sort of gnome.
Was it last week that we were talking? I feel like it was Vanity Fair wrote an article about how the right was like basically bullying J.D. Vance by taking his face and turning it into memes. Yeah. And it was super self-righteous of Vanity Fair to be like, they're treating J.D. Vance with such disrespect. And you're like, J.D. Vance probably is the person on the planet who loves them the most. What do you think J.D. Vance did when someone said, Mr. Vice President, You have to see this.
J-
And shows him Donald Trump unveiling not the Declaration of Independence, but this meme of JD Vance. It's just funny. It's fun to laugh again. It's fun to be funny again. It's fun to be able to make fun of things in good faith and just find it stupidly funny. And we get to do that on this side of the Trump inauguration.
It says on the picture, which also doesn't make any sense. It says all these gnome faces popping up out of the ground like they're Cabbage Patch heads of JD Vance, and it says on it, "Did you even say thank you?" Which doesn't mean anything.
It does. It's from the Zelensky meeting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what that is. Okay, but why this?
Why not?
I guess not. I don't know.
I think part of like the description, the definition of what memes are should be why not? Why wouldn't we?
Look, the other thing that I actually really appreciate is that this is a moving camera. This isn't a still turn toward. This is a fluid person walking with a phone.
It takes a little skill
It takes some real skill to make that look real.
to meme a new image
Yes.
in the place of the Declaration of Independence. And folks, as I said at the beginning of this, a new meme is born because Donald Trump is going to be revealing all sorts of things behind those curtains for the rest of time. For history.
Yeah. Somebody's going to write a program that you can plug any picture into that video, and you'll just see them forever.
And do you know, do the contrast here. When you look at what the other side is doing to have fun, it's Tim Walz threatening to beat up Republicans as if somehow or another that's actually going to be an effective strategy or even a provable one. And standing on a stage in front of a lot of seemingly disenfranchised, angry Democrat voters saying, you guys, if you can't get through the day, just put the Tesla stock on your phone. There's an app for that. You can put it on there and you can watch it go down. How sad.
I mean, they're not in a good position. You know, when you're the losing party, you gotta do the old postmortem and figure out what went wrong. But they're trying really hard to stay in the public eye for some reason right now. I don't know if that's because that's the only way for them to continue to get donations or something. I don't know. This would be a time where you kind of step back, and they're not stepping back. They are wanting your attention.
Well, in another little exercise of how are things going for the left? You know, genuine and general comedy is permittable now. We can laugh at things without having to be canceled. You can laugh at things that are maybe a little bit on the boundary or a little bit off color, and people can laugh at you for the things about you that might be a little outside. Like, we don't have these strict, everybody hold on tight because we're out to cancel people now. You can look at something and go, that sucks and I don't like it. That's stupid. I'm not a fan of the person of using the word word retard. I'm going to say it here for the sake of communication standpoint. That is the bust through the door way that people on, I would say, the right and the libertarians of the world have said, we're going to say what we want to say and we don't care what you think about it. I still, as an American, get to choose to not use that word. I still don't want to hear my kids use that word. And I'm going to raise them to be that way. But the stranglehold that the left had on punching you in the face until you agreed with everything they said, or if you disagreed, you knew it was time to shut the hole in your face. That is the way that it has been presented to us since probably 2008. That's just started to crumble down. And it's amazing to watch the left consume the stupidest memes that you could possibly. I couldn't come up with that myself. That level of creativity.
Just the beautiful hair they put on JD Vance in that. That stuff's funny, man.
Thinking like, watching that and thinking of them sitting around, or even if it's just one person going, I can make this more ridiculous. There's more here. I haven't fully tapped into my potential. But watching the left try to analyze it and use it against the right, and the right's like, this is amazing. It's just getting better and better. So we wanted to do a little experiment here. I saw some screenshots on X, and I thought, well, let's bring it home. Let's bring it local. Snow White, Disney Snow White, big opening weekend for Disney Snow White. She's not white. That is, what's the word? Stunning and brave. I don't know. She doesn't want her prince to save her. She said so. That story is tired and old. Like, what is it, 1937, I think is when Snow White originally came out. And Rachel Zegler, is that her name? Is that Snow White?
Yeah.
She came out, she's like, that story is so old and like backwards. And she basically made a bunch of comments about how the Snow White story sucks. But she's Snow White, so take that for what you will. It's not going to be about that. It's going to be about her finding her own potential. Like, I don't need no man to kiss me when I'm asleep in the woods with some magical creatures, not even dwarves. Well, there's some screenshots going around X, and I was like, let's do this on our own, of how well the movie theaters are filling up for this big opening weekend. We have been talking about Disney Snow White. The news media has been talking about Disney Snow White for years. Peter Dinklage came out and was like, "Oh, Disney, you're gonna make Snow White a Latina, but you're still gonna push the trope of little people, dwarves living in caves." To which we had this conversation before, but I did not know that was a caricature. That dwarves lived in caves, in the woods.
Yeah, apparently, which would solely come from that movie. Like, that's not a thing outside of that movie.
Like, the only thing people know about dwarves is from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. That they're hardworking individuals.
Yeah.
Very caring, compassionate, and welcoming.
And also a little bit caricatured because each one just does one thing.
Yeah.
You know.
But I think that didn't really reflect as much on the dwarves because they all did different things, so they're pretty dynamic
Ooh, very true.
as a group.
Yeah. They're all dynamic except for Sleepy. He was just sleepy.
You said that like it should have been preceded by In a World. Except for Sleepy. He was just sleepy. So let's look around. Which movie theater are you looking at right now? On your
I'm looking
screen?
at O'Fallon 15 Cine. So this is in O'Fallon, Illinois, one of the places we go often when we go see movies. And you got the screenshot there to see how it's doing locally.
Well, why don't you walk us through it, because it's radio, so they need to hear your voice.
So this
This is our first week on radio. Yesterday was a
yeah,
trip.
we're sharing memes that are purely visual. This,
No, we're not.
This is what the most popular. So I chose 7:30 because I thought that would be like the most popular time to go see a movie. It could be right in that zone, but that was the number one. This is the seating chart for tonight at 7:30 in O'Fallon.
Are the gray boxes the reserved seats?
Those are the reserve seats. So all the white boxes that you can see are all still open.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 seats are reserved?
13 seats reserved. And
For
that's a
7:30.
pretty big theater. And that's 7:30 tonight. That's prime time tonight.
Don't you only reserve seats in the big theaters? Like if you go to see one that doesn't have recliners or rumble seats or a Dolby blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I don't actually know. I don't do this a lot. We don't go see movies a whole lot. But you said, because I said, is this normal, Annie? Because you've seen movies recently, even Disney movies or kids movies, that you said at this time going into a Friday, that theater would be almost full right now. And there are very few seats reserved.
I'm looking at the Edwardsville Snow White 6:30 p.m. show tonight. Let's see, share this tab instead. And you can put it up there, Brad, if you can see it. It's kind of hard to follow here, but
Holy smokes. Wow.
It's a full, huge, it's like, I think the biggest one. There are 6 seats, smack dab, middle of the row, middle of the theater, 6 seats reserved, and 4 seats. This really is frustrating to me, because if I wanted to see this movie, those 4 seats at the very back in the center, those are the seats that I would sit in.
Yeah.
Maybe my husband's taking me. He knows me better than that. There are 10 seats in this theater it's probably 150 seats in that theater.
Yeah, I'm going to share this tab too. So I went a little earlier because I thought, well, it's a kids movie. Maybe the timing would be earlier. This is the 3:40 show, matinee show. And you can see again, we're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 seats total reserved out of that whole theater. So this movie's not going to do well.
I've got St. Charles.
Yeah, why don't you put St. Charles? Yeah.
So I looked at St. Charles. This is a St. Charles 10 at a 6:45 showing. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 seats in the St. Charles. And this is their super screen. This is their big theater.
And what time is that show?
6:45.
Good
So trying to
Yeah,
get
these are the sellout shows.
Is
That's
there-
what they
Yeah.
should be.
Is there an equivalent? I don't know if you know more about this from an industry since you've been in. What industry have you been in? TV?
The
Yeah. Biblical.
industry.
The
Yeah.
King James industry.
Right, the original OG. Yeah. The original Latin.
The OG. Yeah. In music, people have talked about, I think Taylor Swift did this initially, helped break through. That didn't her dad or her parents buy a bunch of her albums or
Yeah,
something?
that's a common practice. Yes.
Take us from the beginning and explain how that works. You got Taylor Swift coming on the scene.
Okay, she's a brand new artist. I don't know what year that would be, but she was very, very young. I don't even know if she was 16, 17 years old,
Curly
something
hair.
like that.
Curly long hair,
Yeah,
acoustic guitar.
trying to
really.
break into country music. And I think in Nashville, and she came on the scene. Her dad was wealthy enough that they were able to, I don't know how she got the attention of who she needed to, but she did. And they put out an album. Well, her dad went and bought, I don't know how many. It could be up to 1 million albums.
lot.
Yeah, a lot of albums. They do this with books too, to book releases.
So they get on a list.
If
then
you
sells
have
more.
if you have a big enough name, and that's what's unique about Taylor Swift is at the time she didn't,
Mm-hmm.
and so she had a wealthy enough father who was able to buy enough of her albums.
I won't
pump
speak
those numbers.
I won't
up.
speak for either of you two. I'm not here to criticize Taylor Swift's success or say it's fake. She has certainly made her money many times over. But the way to, if you don't break
in.
through,
Yeah, you got to break in.
is there a way to do that with movies?
Because
Because I'm saying, like, if you look across the country right now and people are not going to see this movie, is there a way that Disney can manufacture success?
No, not really, because it just costs too much. Ticket sales for movies really do just go back to the producer of the movie. The way the theater makes money is on all the other stuff. All the food you buy.
popcorn, yeah.
So the vast majority of that ticket sale that you buy, that's going right back to the movie producer. So it's not really possible to do in movies because you'd have to buy so many seats. The only reason to do it is to generate buzz and to push it to tops of lists.
But that's what you're saying happens in music and in book industry.
but it's
Can you-
cheaper to do it with books and music than it is to do with movies because the tickets cost too much. And you have to buy so many of them. It's all going back to you, but then your opening weekend is where you make money. So to make all of that in your opening weekend, you'd just be kind of cannibalizing yourself. It wouldn't make sense to do it in movies.
What if it was tanking so bad you didn't want the bad press?
I guess you technically could invest some of your money back into ticket sales if you really were just trying to avoid a complete flop. But it's as far as I know, it's not common practice to do it. It's possible, but with books and music, that's common. With movies, I don't hear about that. But this would be the example to have it happen.
I think that we should, if we can remember, in the 2 o'clock hour, at the end of the 2 o'clock hour, we should try to poke around and see if any of these that we've checked
Yeah.
have. Maybe we just did the best advertisement for seeing Snow White tonight that one could possibly make. Free advertising. Go see this movie if you want to.
Do you have any desire to see the movie?
Zero. I'm mad at it. I'm
Yeah.
not. And again, this goes back to things we've talked about before. Lightyear was that too. It was that they're doing the press junket for Lightyear, and Chris Evans, who voices Buzz Lightyear in that film, not Tim Allen, that's a whole different story. There's this like fleeting second where one of the characters in the movie has two moms, and they're going through their day and they kiss each other goodbye like a mom and dad. It's not a romantic scene at all. And Disney decided to go all in on that. I mean, I don't even think the scene lasts 2 seconds. I think that in a large part, it wouldn't have even, it might be something you might notice on like the third or fourth time you watch it. But Disney decided to make the whole Lightyear movie about that. And Chris Evans was like, if you don't like that's, I don't remember the exact quote, but he's like, if you don't like that's in this movie, I don't want you to come see this movie. And so then it's like, now, first of all, you chose to put it in the movie. Avengers, I guess it's Endgame, because it's after the snap happens. When they come at the beginning of Endgame, there's a therapy group sitting together, people talking, and there's a guy who refers to his boyfriend or his husband, and that's there. It's in there. You notice it. Well, guess what, folks? Gay people exist. They're everywhere, and you work with them. You're related to them. They're your family members. I mean, if you have a religious perspective on that, you're entitled to that, of course. We all have our own perspectives on these things, but to pretend like they don't exist is an entirely different situation. When you put it in your movie as a part of daily life versus when you say, like, that's what people know about the movie Lightyear. That's what they made it all about. And I'm not going to go see Lightyear. I'm not going to go see any movie when they make it all about these social justice types of crusades that I don't really send my kids to go watch animated movies like this to be a part of. Like, you don't get access to my kids for that. I'll take care of how we handle those types of topics in our house, and I think we do a good job of it. But like all of these social crusades that Disney is trying to put out there, and Disney's certainly not the only one, Snow White, that's all it's been the whole time. That's all it's been. So no, I hope it fails massively and you get back to making good movies.
Yeah, the biggest deal about that is that it's not just the stuff that you know about, the little people thing and the Rachel Zegler and all that stuff.
Magical
it's
creatures.
It's the whole plot of the film was altered to be less traditional. And if you don't like that, you go, well, I don't want to see that.
And Snow White, like, if you know about Disney, Snow White, you could make an argument that Snow White created what Disney is today.
Yes,
the animation behind Snow White is what opened the doors to everything that we've seen Disney do that has been magical. And Rachel Zegler's going to crap on that? Nope. Not with my dollar. Not at all. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. Don't go away.